I'm Hovey Smith. I'm the principal of a new project, Father of the Grooms, which is to be a book, screenplay, and movie that'll be produced over the next 4 years. And I went to Sicily on an exploration trip to get some ground truth and some real facts about Sicilian life before I started writing the book. Now we start off here with some music. And we went to the Mussina fish market, where we saw both fish and vegetables in an open market.
150.
Oh, some amazing bell peppers there.
Yeah. We call those capsicums.
Well, those are the largest bell peppers I've ever seen.
And in this period,
And we found another cute little car. And this is the street of one of the coastal villages that we went through. Now, we went inland from the coast, and we saw a bit of different country, as you will see coming up. And here we are. You see we have rolling hills, and those are olive trees that are shown up there and sort of planted anywhere they can get them. And these trees are awful long-lived. An olive will live hundreds of years, and you'll see one of these very old trees. Basically, what's flat enough to cultivate and put on a plow and or grow an orchard in or put a vineyard in, yeah, that land has been used. Now, this is our archaeological site. And the Cave de Cusa is a quarry where they actually mined the stone from which these historic buildings were made. Now, as it turned out, this is one of the most historic buildings going, and this is the one shown in the first picture. This is yet another structure. These are big, as you can see from the size of the people walking on them. This is an unfinished temple, the Temple of Zeus in the background. Those columns were erected, but never finished. And here is another ruin with a view overlooking the sea. This explanation is about how these rocks were quarried and transported. And look at the size of that capital from the lady walking beside it. That is a huge piece of rock, and it was never erected. Here is yet another view. Interestingly, there were dogs running around here, mostly mixed breed labs, and they were having great fun. Now, at this exhibition, they had some exhibits of fauna and flora, and in particularly one of these very old olive trees. And also almonds, which I had personally not seen. I've never lived in almond country. And if you look very closely, you'll see some almonds actually on the trees. Now, they have explanations at the site of the particular temples and their assumed names. They don't really know for sure exactly which one was what. This is the city wall, and those niches were carved as tombs for later Christians' burials. The stones here are actually for individuals who were killed by the mafia.
The 19th for us,
the 90s she's talking about is the time of the so-called mafia wars. Now, as we move further through the site, we see here the reproduction of a Roman statue. And we're progressing through. You see more of the walls, a Roman statue again. And this is Argentum, and you see the explanation of the signs. And this fellow here is very interesting. This is a modern sculpture, of course, and these are scattered throughout the sites. The temple here was actually later used as a church, and they show and exhibit a particular Sicilian goats there from which they make a peculiar cheese. So they try to get in some archaeology, some historic sites. This is a graveyard outside of the city, which was, of course, looted many times. And this happens to be the home of the principal investigator and excavator of this site back in the 1880s. Well, the first day starting in Palermo concentrated on Norman stuff. The Greco-Roman stuff was covered on the second day. Now, there were some prizes. There were some surprises, such as the statue of the fallen Icarus. And he always got a chuckle from everybody. And the milk from these native goats was used and is used to make a special cheese, and we tried some. Now, when we do our book, we're going to have our crew come by and visit the statue, of course, and be greatly embarrassed by it, and so on and so on and so on. And some interesting things will happen. And we're going to have, or we do have, a Kickstarter project ongoing right now for the next 30 days. And you can contribute to it, $20. And what that will do will get you chapters of the book as I write them. And that will also give you, of course, a copy of the finished book when it is done about a year from now. Now, those who get chapters are going to be able to comment on them and offer suggestions and corrections if they see something that's wrong or terribly out of place. And incidentally, you also get first options of a cast call when we actually start putting the movie together, which will be about in 2024. Goodbye and God bless. See you in the movies.